So yesterday, we try to understand what exactly is that we are searching or seeking in spiritual endeavor. Very many words are given, but generally the seekers in their over-enthusiasm have not a clear notion of what they are seeking and what is the nature of that reality. Call it as truth or reality or consciousness or God. Unless we have a clear picture of it, a concept of it, its location, its nature, with reference to which our present position, where we are and what we are, and in what direction we must lift ourselves. Unless this clear notion is there, all our efforts, we may put in the most sincere efforts, but it cannot take us anywhere unless we have, even in the worldly pilgrimages, unless we have a definite idea of the destination. The great thinkers of the past were fascinated by this silent presence, whose expression is the dynamism of life everywhere. They wanted to know what is the spring of this life. What is it that expresses in this world, because of which you and I are at this moment a sentient being, irrespective whether we are a good being or a bad being, an evil monster or a divinely sweet person, irrespective of the quality. What is it that expresses as evil in an evil man, or the nobility in a noble one, the righteousness in a righteous person? What is it without which everyone decays and goes back to the mud from which they seem to have sprung forth? This enlivening presence, this divine touch, the flame of life in each one of us, is that what they were searching? When they sought, they found that directly they cannot reach therein. Our human intellect is incapable of reaching the seat of consciousness, even though we are all aware that there is consciousness, that we are conscious beings. But then what is that consciousness that we cannot grasp with the instruments that are available with us, either through our physical perceptions, nor by our emotional or mental feelings, nor can we reach there and comprehend it with our intellection, our rational capacity to scientifically think. Since thus direct expression or approach to this great truth is not possible, the adventurous and irresistibly enthusiastic or irresistible enthusiasm of these great seekers of the past, they started observing the expressions of life through every one of us. The grosser expressions. And by a study of it, just as we try to understand the source of a river by going along against the current of the river and slowly reach the source, explore the source, Similarly, they started observing the outer, evident, gross manifestation of a living organism and explored backwards into the very spirit or the very spring of consciousness or life that expresses or makes it possible for us to express in the world outside. Thus, when they viewed, they found that this life which is present in every one of us, which is that what we are seeking, at this moment we know it's not. It is an unknown factor at this moment. Now, unknown factor cannot be defined, but to indicate it, that what we are striving to know, we can to a large extent infer that I am alive, that we are all alive. It is only an inference. That a plant is alive, we infer because it looked almost a skeleton, all leaves shed, it was almost dry, and we thought that it was dying, but we started giving it water and shaking its roots a little, fertilizing it a little, and when we started manuring, etc., and after a week's time, when I see small suspicious sprouts all over the tree, I say, I declare, I infer from its response to the external stimuli that that plant which I thought was almost dead is alive. From these expressions of plant or animal or human, the ability of an organism to respond to the external stimuli, we infer that it is alive. What are the responses that arise from us? Thus, they started subjectively analyzing. When they thus observed, they found that this life, which is unknown at this moment, which is the one string on which all of us are strung together into a garland of existence, this one life whose expressions are every living organism and all activities of the living world, this mighty power, call it power, presence, divine, light of consciousness, call it whatever you like. This is indicated here by a term, Om. Because if you call it as God, then the question comes of which God? Then break the head of each other. Ireland and other places, religion is always dangerous. Because if you name a label a thing, quarrel comes. Why not give it this name? That name is no good. Even giving the name to your own son, there is a quarrel at home. Until at last it becomes a habit. It is always true. So that the Hindu masters thought that, now don't give it any name, whose expressions are all gods as well as a universe. So he called it only by a scientific symbol, Om. This mighty life, the spark of consciousness in every one of us, not on the board, in you, in the core of your own life. This mighty power, expressing through, because I am showing it and you are looking at it, and therefore I thought that you are thinking God is there on the table, on the board. It is not. It is subjective. I am driving you inward by pointing it here. So after a few days, if you say that, Swamiji, I saw nothing on the board, I was thinking God will come there. It is not here. So this presence, this divine possibility, whose presence is, without whose presence I could not have expressed. That mighty reality expresses in through every one of us. Yesterday we said, through the three equipments of experiences: the body, the mind, and the intellect. The physical, the psychological, and the intellectual equipments. Just as electrical equipments, these are life's equipments, equipments of experiences. Our entire life's experiences are filtered through, gained through these three equipments alone. When thus life expresses through these equipments, life the divine itself, God himself, the reality, the truth itself expresses as I the perceiver, I the feeler, I the thinker. So this individuality, I, in every one of us, this subjective first person singular, the sense of I. Afterwards is the definition of I. I am miserable, today I am healthy, today I am not healthy. That is all each individual's total experience. But this, who is it that is unhealthy in the unhealthy one? Who is that who is the unhappy in the unhappy one? The individual. You, the individual who was a child, when also you said I, and when you were young also you said I, middle age also you say I, and in old age also you say I. Ages change, your sorrows and experiences change, but in all of them, the subject, the individuality is the same guy called I. And now if I ask any one of you or every one of you, who are you, please? You get up and you start the sentence how? I, thank you, that'll do. No, I understood it. Now rest is only a detail. I, sit down. You, the most fanatic Islamic, Arab, ask him to say, you are, sir, I, that'll do, sit down. Universally, whether you are a Jew or a Christian or Catholic or Protestant, Hindu or Muslim, Brahmin or a Brahmin, I mean that is a Harijan, without caste, creed, color, knowledge or your foolishness, even ask a madman, you are I. Afterwards, according to his madness, he will say that I am God. You see? That is what it is. That is his interpretation of him. But I don't want your interpretation. If you ask any man, the common essence, the subject I, this I is the PFT, the experiencer, the hero of your life history, the sufferer or the enjoyer of your experiences. And this experiencer, the perceiver, don't worry my pronunciation, the perceiver with the equipment of the body experiences objects. And careful, with the body you cannot experience emotion. I cannot smell your love. I think your love. You understand? I can't touch your love. The love is an emotion which I cannot hear your love, taste your love, rub and see what kind of love you have got, or your hatredness for that matter. Your emotions I cannot see, perceive with the body. And with the mind, I cannot see the objects. See, each equipment has got its own limitation. What I can see through the telescope, I cannot see through a microscope. Both are giving me the vision of the world outside.